Got a math question? Mathline has answers. Hey, Mathline.
Hey Mathline, this is Jacquelyn from middle school in Lafayette, Louisiana. What is the slope of the line connecting the 2 points 5, -2, and -3, -5?
Wow, you saw the fishes going there. This is the slope of the line connecting the 2 points 5, -2, and -3, -5. You said, Ernie, did y'all go to Louisiana? No, actually, we found Jacquelyn up at the Ripley's Aquarium up here in the Smokies during our Splash and Bubbles days. So Jacquelyn was willing to do a problem for us and had a good one for us here. And here's what it said. Here's what she said. What is the slope of the line connecting the 2 points? And here are the points. This is, by the way, these are X and Y, and this is another X and Y. So when we name points on a graph, we use two coordinates. We use the X and the Y. And we'll call this our first X and first Y, just because it's the first point. And then we'll also pick up, and I'll just put a little parenthesis around there for those of you who like to see those. And also we're going to call this thing over here our second X and our second Y. By the way, that does not mean square the X or square the Y. It's just first X, first Y, and there's second X, second Y. They're called subscripts, and sometimes we call them Y sub 1 and X sub 1 and X sub 2 and Y sub 2. The sub stands for a subscript, all right? So it doesn't mean it's like lesser or evil or whatever, something like that. Just simply is, it's just a standard notation. Now, those of you who've had Algebra 1 and those of you who haven't, you say, what is slope? If I go ski and I go down a slope, all right? If I don't have a slope, I have to hold on to this rope and let it pull me along, all right, which isn't very much fun. All right, so because when you go skiing, you want to go downhill. You want to go downhill. You want the steeper, the more fun until you get to a certain point. Then it's kind of crazy and suicidal. But with what we've got here, we're going to look at, call this thing a rate of change. And what we do to get the rate of change, we use this little letter M. I think it's because S's look like 5s, all right? So we're going to call it M. That's M is going to stand for our slope. And the formula is, in 2 words, I like to use rise over run. Now you say, well, what does that mean, Ernie? What is rise and run talking about? Well, rise is the change in your Y, all right? And Y means we're going up or down. So it's a rise. If you're falling, you're still rising, but you're doing it in a negative direction, all right? We like to be positive, but it doesn't always work that way, right? So what happens here is underneath that, the run is horizontal, and that's going to be our change in the X values, all right? So we're going to compare them. And notice we make a fraction. That just simply means division. It's just simply a division. It's a fraction, but it's also a ratio. And we're going to be talking about how much do we do Y while we're also doing some amount in X, all right? So here's the deal. Formula, I've given you kind of the blowdown of it here. Let's talk about it. Y1 minus Y2. Now, Jacquelyn, you didn't know you were going to get all this today, right? But we do appreciate you giving us this problem, and we're going to take care of it for you. And by the way, Jacquelyn and any of you can see that problem on YouTube, all right, when we put these things, upload these Hey Math lines and things like that. So if you want to be a part of our Hey Math lines, let us know. We would love to have you film with us and do some of those. Now, let's put some numbers in here because that's what we came for, right? You said, good night, aren't there enough variables and letters up there? I agree. Let's put some numbers in our story here. It says Y1 minus Y2. Now, someone said, my teacher told me Y2 minus Y1. It's okay as long as you keep going in the same direction, all right? You can start with your Y's as 2 to 1, and then X's have to be 2 to 1. But one thing that has to be certain, rise, Y's on top. Rise rhymes with Y's, all right? Put it on the top. X doesn't rhyme with anything. It's just left over. It's going to run. It's going to be in the denominator. So let's see what our numerator is giving us. Change in Y. We've got -2, and we're going to subtract, yes, a -5. Now be careful. That is subtracting a -5. That is not just -5, all right? Got to make sure it's not subtract 5. It's subtracting a -5. Some of you like to put a little parenthesis around that. That's okay. I just want you to notice there's 2 negatives jamming, and they're going to go blink positive, all right? Now, down in the lovely denominator, what have we got going on here? I see a 5 minus a -3. Everybody see a 5 minus? Because there's the 5. It's not a negative. It's just good old 5 minus the negative 3. Now notice what happens here. We get basically a 5 plus 3. So everything gets happy. And 3/8 just looks like what we've got here. Now, some of you are going to ask, and I'm sure you're thinking, well, what would have happened if you'd put that negative 5 minus negative? What if you'd switch those? What if you'd switch that? Well, we would have, obviously, we would have a negative 3 over a negative 8. But guess what happens when you divide a negative 3 by a negative 8, Jacquelyn? You get the same answer. It's going to be 3/8. And folks, that's the beauty of division. Remember your positives and negatives. And be careful. Once you set up your pattern on this X1, Y1 business, stay with it. Stay with it. Don't switch and decide, I don't like that. So you're going to, because you'll be off by a sign if you go off the wrong path on one of those. Got to keep the same feeling going both ways. It's one of those things. It's like a pattern. It really is. But I hope that helps a little bit, because a lot of you are going to be dealing with slope probably within the first or second week of school, and definitely within your high school and your middle school math career. There's a lot of that. And think about it. Why is it important? So I can go skiing on a nice steep slope and not kill myself. All right. So anyway, Jacquelyn, thank you from Lafayette, Louisiana at the Aquarium. Great. We're going to have